gentlemen, this is John Nutrien, and today we will be taking a look at the South African economy. And in order to do so, we will be taking a look at some of the figures, such as the GDP per capita, inflation rates, and growth. And all these things will later on help us to draw a conclusion on whether or not it achieves its macroeconomic objectives: low employment, low and stable rate of inflation, economic growth, and equity in the distribution of income. To begin, in terms of economic growth and stability, figures indicate that the South African economy is in good condition. Its GDP is $663 billion US, considering its purchasing power parity, which gives it a $12,500 GDP per capita, placing South Africa as a higher middle income country. Moreover, inflation rates remain at 3.3%, lying between the recommended 1 to 5%, suggesting that South Africa has a steadily growing economy. Therefore, it meets its macroeconomic objective of stable growth and inflation. However, while it achieves the macroeconomic objective of stable inflation, its very big economic problem is that the vast majority of the population is not benefiting from that stable and seemingly prosperous economy. There is very serious unequal income distribution. Money is flowing between the rich while the poor suffers. Simply stated, the $12,500 GDP per capita means nothing to the vast majority of the South African population. Now I want you to take a look at the South African unemployment rate, which is now standing at 25.2%. A quarter of South Africans' able workforce are actively seeking for jobs but are unable to find them. Now look at the Gini coefficient. It is the numerical measure of the level of income inequality of that nation. The closer the coefficient is to 1, the more unequal the income distribution. South Africa is standing at 69%, and it is among the highest in the world. This is what the GDP and the GDP per capita is not telling us. They're missing individual income distribution, they're missing quality of life, they're missing people's well-being and prosperity, all the social aspects of life. I'd like to emphasize that we can also tell from the numbers that the condition of the South African economy is unlikely to improve. First, the high unemployment rate has a big negative impact on the nation's aggregate demand. And in an economy with such poor condition, there will be pessimistic consumer expectations, which likely contributes to the low economic growth that the nation is experiencing. Currently, it is standing at 1.9% per annum, which is low for a developing nation. But the low economic growth will make high unemployment remain high, and this cycle will continue to cause poverty among many South African households. To conclude, although South Africa has a powerful and stable economy, especially when compared to its African neighbors, South African economists and policymakers have a lot of work to do in making sure that its wealth and prosperity gets distributed evenly. They are not doing a good job in meeting their macroeconomic objectives, and unless major reforms are put into effect, the spiral of poverty in many South African households is likely to persist.